Good evening, everybody, and welcome to UWS Women's Volleyball here on 91.3 FM KUWS and on Yellow Jacket TV. This is Matt Johnson coming to you live from Mertz Mortarelli Gymnasium, where it is the pregame show sponsored by the National Bank of Commerce as UWS returns home after a two-match road swing to take on St. Scholastica for the second time here in the Bridge Battle of 2025, the second of three times the Yellow Jackets in the Saints will meet here before the season is over. UWS coming into this contest tonight against the Saints, now sitting at 11-7 overall, 1-1 in UMAC under Coach Lynn Diedrich in her 23rd season at the helm of the Yellow Jacket volleyball program. 345 wins and counting for Coach Diedrich so far in her Yellow Jacket coaching career. They split two matches to open up the UMAC conference portion of the schedule, did the Yellow Jackets, playing two matches down in the Twin Cities on Friday and Saturday, opening the conference campaign with a 3-1 loss to perennial powers Northwestern before rebounding the Down North Central 3-0 on Saturday at Clark Danielson Gym down in Minneapolis. Against the Eagles on Friday, UWS took the first set 25-18 before Northwestern came back to win the next three sets by scores of 25-21, 25-17, and 25-14. That match was played at the Erickson Center down in St. Paul. In that match, the Yellow Jackets hitting 371 in the first set, but faltered in the second, third, and fourth sets to finish with a team hitting percentage of 149. Individually, UWS was led by McKenna Holbein, who had 19 kills and 15 digs, while setters Colleen Claude and Gabby Schwartz each posted double-doubles. Claude finishing with 18 assists and 10 digs, while Schwartz had 24 assists and 10 digs. Defensively, Savannah Herring led the way for the Yellow Jackets with 16 digs. Fortunately for UWS, they were able to rebound against North Central the following day down at Clark Danielson Gym, as I mentioned. The Yellow Jackets downing the Rams by set scores of 25-17, 25-20, and 25-17. For the match, UWS hit 241 as a team and were led by Holbein again with 15 kills and 9 digs, while Carly Lohman, the Superior native, had 13 kills and 11 digs. Defensively, Herring had 11 digs for the Yellow Jackets in that one as well. Meanwhile, St. Scholastica comes into this second border battle of 2025, sitting at 8-6 overall. They're 1-1 in the MIAC under Chelsea Murado, who is their head coach. They picked up their first MIAC conference win of the season on Saturday by defeating McAllister in a very one-sided match, 25-18, 25-9, and then 25-17. That game, or that match, was played over at Rife Gym in Duluth. In that match, the Saints hit 302 while holding the Scots to negative 027 hitting for the match, and were led offensively by Lindsay Baraboo and Abby Zins with 10 kills each. From the center position, Natalie Yackley, meanwhile, dished out 30 assists, while Bryn Ziegler led the way defensively for the Saints with 13 digs. So that gives you a quick overview of where these two teams are at here heading into the second border battle of 2025. We'll talk more about the first matchup between these two during the Stinger Classic as we move along here, but that gives you an overview of where the two teams are at heading into this latest matchup between UWS and St. Scholastica. And with that being the case, we'll take a quick break and come back with more of our pregame show sponsored by the National Bank of Commerce, including a conversation with Yellow Jacket head coach Lynn Diedrich. That's coming up right after this. This is UWS Women's Volleyball on 91.3 FM, KUWS Superior, and on Yellow Jacket TV, an affiliate of the UMAC Sports Network. Matt Johnson back now, joined by Yellow Jacket head coach Lynn Diedrich. And Coach, first time we've had a chance to chat this season, 18 matches in. This is going to be number 19 on the night, at least for 2025 so far. You guys have had some really nice wins so far, a couple of close losses as well in there, but obviously, it's a little bit of a different looking team. You did bring back quite a few players, but, there were some notable losses also during the offseason. I just want to get your assessment on where the team is at here heading into this match tonight against St. Scholastica.
Yeah, I think at times we're doing some really good things. I'm really happy with our performance, against some teams that, especially some of the higher end teams that we've played at a very high level ourselves. It's whether or not we can stay at that consistency level to, continue to compete with the top in the conference and the top moving forward. So I think coming into tonight's game, Scholastica is always a challenge. We have a border battle going on between the two of us. And, this year, because of the Northland closure, we're ending up having to play them 3 times, which is not a normal thing. But I think it's kind of nice to have this border battle and stuff. So I expect them to come out tough tonight, too. And we're going to have to come out and play hard.
I want to talk about McKenna a little bit because she's really taken that step to become kind of a star for you guys. McKenna Holbein now in her sophomore year. We kind of identified her as someone that was going to kind of step up and possibly be a leader for the program. But on a regular basis now, it seems like she's one of the best players on the court, regardless of who you guys are playing. I mean, it's nice to see her kind of step forward and really take over that leadership role, not just as a player, but also as kind of a voice in the squad this year.
Yeah, she is a definite go-to player on our court and things like that. We try to get her the ball as many times as we can in some situations and things like that. And she does a great job in putting it down and finishing for us and has led the team in most of our matches with kills in the match. But she does so much else other than just put the ball away. I mean, she's a 6 rotation player. Passes nails from the back row, defends from the back row. Just, a great player to have on our team. And I only can see her doing greater things coming and moving forward into the season. And she continues to grow in her game and raise her IQ as well.
I'll talk a little bit about the backcourt as well. You lost Jenna Anderson, who obviously was the best libero in the conference last year. She was an all-region player, all-American candidate. I mean, she kind of did a little bit of everything for you guys. Was one of the best, defensive players in the country, in fact, statistically last year. I know you tried out some different combinations back there. I know Savannah Herring has kind of stepped into that DS role a little bit, but you've had Colleen Claude back there. How do you feel like being able to kind of fill the void that Jenna left after she graduated has been going?
Well, I think it's a big void to fill. I think both Savannah and Colleen have stepped up in that role and are doing a better job at trying to read and get touches on balls. And some nights, they're on, and some nights they're not on, and that's where I maybe have to make a switch and, change the lineup a little bit, because I feel like we do have added depth this year in our program in all positions. And so sometimes if we do need to make a change, I think that's a positive. It's not, something that's going to, drop us off or drop us out of the match or anything like that. It can be a real positive for us. And so it's just maybe about stepping out, taking a breather, getting my refocus, and then getting back in and then doing my job that I was first meant to do.
I'm glad you brought the versatility of the squad because, you run a 6-2 offense. Bring back both stars from last year. But Carly Lohman, the sophomore, has also stepped in. You've had 3 setters play at times this season. A lot of teams can't say that. How's that been going for you?
Yeah, no, it's been great. And, I think in a lot of different programs, any one of those 3 players could be a starter in a program. But again, we're running a 6-2, and there's only 2 people that get that opportunity. And so I have sort of done a little bit of a rotation where you get 2 games, you get 2 games, you get 2 games. And like in Colleen's instance, when she's not setting, oftentimes I'll throw her in the other libero position or the other libero shirt or other defensive shirt and things like that, just to keep her presence on the court too as a leader. And it's just been really fun to watch, Carly move into that role as being, ready to go.
Now, during this match tonight, obviously, St. Scholastica team you've already seen this year, like you said, 3 times this year. That's sort of unheard of as far as the bridge battle goes. Saw them at the Stinger Classic, very close match up until that 4th set when you guys pulled away a little bit. Obviously, they've got some really good players in the middle, especially. They've got a senior setter. What else do you know about the Saints? And do you expect any kind of changes from the first time you played them this year?
Yeah, no, they're tough. I mean, both their middles, Lindsay and Ava, they do a great job in putting the ball away for their team, and their setter is just dynamite. She puts the ball up and knows where to put it, and they're a very strong team. I don't know for sure tonight whether or not they'll have their starting libero that played for us, 10 days ago. If she's out right now with an injury or things like that, but she might be back in. And if somebody else is in, I'm sure they'll be ready to step up as well. And we'll just need to keep ourselves ready to go too and try to finish and stay consistent and play at a high level.
All right, Coach. Well, as always, thank you for your time. Good luck tonight against the Saints, and we'll be talking again probably on Friday for Bethany Lutheran.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
That was Yellow Jacket head coach Lynn Diedrich. I'll be right back with more Yellow Jacket women's volleyball right after this on 91.3 FM KUWS Superior and the Yellow Jacket TV, an affiliate of the UMAC Sports Network. Matt Johnson back here at the Mertz as the two teams are being introduced. We've already played the national anthem for this one tonight, the Yellow Jackets and the Saints. Our public address announcer, Ryan Castaneda, announcing the two squads here as we get ready for this one. By the way, if you can't get enough of the Yellow Jackets, tune in to Eye of the Swarm, the official podcast of Yellow Jacket Athletics. Join John Garver and me throughout the years. We sit down with Yellow Jacket student athletes, coaches, and other guests. Eye of the Swarm is available on uwsyellowjackets.com/podcast, Spotify, iTunes, or wherever you get your podcasts. Also, a quick reminder, our next radio broadcast, actually be another joint broadcast here on 91.3 FM as well as Yellow Jacket TV, will take place this coming Friday the 3rd as Bethany Lutheran, a much improved squad from last year, coming to town to take on the Yellow Jackets right here at the Mertz. 7 p.m. the opening serve there, 6:45 the pregame with yours truly. Again, that's a joint broadcast on both 91.3 FM KUWS and also on Yellow Jacket TV. We'll give you a couple of series notes between these two teams. It's a long series, by the way, folks. A total of 82 matches have been played between these two squads since their first matchup ever on October 10th, 1978. The Yellow Jackets have won the past 2 matchups, including taking the first meeting between the two teams here, as I mentioned in the pregame, at the 2025 Singer Classic. That match was on Yellow Jacket TV with yours truly on the call. That was played on September 20th. In that match, the Yellow Jackets won a hard-fought contest by scores of 26-24, 22-25, 29-27, and then 25-17 in the fourth. For that match, the Yellow Jackets hitting .217 while St. Scholastica hit .144. The Yellow Jackets were led by McKenna Hobein, no surprise there, with 26 kills and 19 digs in that match, while Caitlin Jones had 14 kills and 23 digs for the Yellow Jackets. She also had the game-winning kill in that match. That was a fun one between UWS and St. Scholastica. The Skinner Catholic actually was fun this year. They did a total of 4 matches myself, and that 2 games, 10 matches over those 2 days. It was, like I said, definitely a marathon of Yellow Jacket and other volleyball, but it was a lot of fun. And the Yellow Jackets picking up the win in that one. Meanwhile, Colleen Claude, by the way, in that match had 30 assists and 16 digs, while Savannah Herring had 28 digs for the Yellow Jackets. The Saints, meanwhile, were led by Abby Zins with 14 kills. Ava Swangstu, meanwhile, had 13 kills. Kathleen Lustig had 10 kills and 17 digs, while Natalie Yackley had 45 assists. Lauren Call, meanwhile, defensively for the Saints, had 22 digs in that match. As the lights have been turned out on me here, the two teams, like I said, being introduced here. And the Yellow Jackets are being introduced here. McKenna Hobein right now getting the nod as the latest Yellow Jacket to be introduced here. And like I said, we're moments away from getting this one underway. These two teams will meet again, by the way, for the 3rd and final time on October 21st across the bridge over at Reif Gym. 3 matchups this season, and you heard Coach Lynn Diedrich talk about it in the open that this is a somewhat of an unusual situation because of Northland College, of course, closing during the summer months and the spring and then the summer. It opened up an extra match opportunity for the Yellow Jackets, and they added St. Scholastica to the mix. The two coaches, by the way, on very friendly terms, Chelsea Murado and also Lynn Diedrich. And now the lights are back on, so the two teams just about ready to get this one underway. The opening serve tonight will be sponsored by Barker's Island Inn here in Superior. And that's the two teams, like I said, trading handshakes right at the net right now. And we should be able to get this one underway here in just a moment. It's pretty incredible that over 82 matches between the two teams, the Yellow Jackets with a 42-40 edge. That's how close it has been over the years as the two teams now, like I said, on the court now getting ready for this one. The Yellow Jackets wearing their black jerseys tonight with the gold trim, meanwhile St. Scholastica in the white with the navy blue trim. And we're moments away from getting this one underway. We'll see who gets the serve first here. And still trying to decide that, it looks like, down there, as the two teams are out on the court here. And like I said, we're just waiting for the go-ahead here. It looks like the Yellow Jackets perhaps will serve first. Or maybe not. I don't know. It's hard to tell right now. The two teams are just kind of milling around out there. And so actually, it looks like maybe it'll be Scholastica that'll serve first. It will be. So let me reverse myself. It'll be Natalie Yackley, the 5'9" senior setter from New Ulm, Minnesota, that'll lead us off here for St. Scholastica. And like I said, the opening serve, as you heard from Ryan Castaneda in the background, sponsored by Barker's Island Inn. And Yackley's serve is up in the air, and we are underway. Colleen Clodd off the pass to the outside. Caitlin Jones, the former St. Scholastica player, with the first swing of the match. Lindsay Baraboo through the middle, got tipped by Sydney Smith for the Yellow Jackets. Now to the far side. Here's a attempt at it from Ava Decker that goes in the bottom side of the net, and it is an error, so it'll be a point for the Yellow Jackets off the side out. Caitlin Jones, before mentioned, Caitlin Jones, sophomore, transferred from St. Scholastica after her freshman year. Goes back to serve for UWS. Off the serve, Yackley now to the outside. Decker's swing, dug out by Savannah Herring. Now Clodd through the middle. And getting the tip kill at the net on Sydney Smith there was Lindsay Baraboo. Baraboo making it a 1-1 contest, side out. And now the Saints will go back and serve. It'll be Decker who will serve it up here. Just a freshman from Rochester, Minnesota. Floats it over. Received now by Herring. Clodd to the outside. Here's Holbein. And she will use the block attempt of Michaela Peterson to get the kill. So Holbein with her first termination makes it 2-1 off the side out. Herring will go back and serve now for UWS, the sophomore from right here in Superior. And here's her serve. Yackley off the pass. Now to the near side. Here's the swing. That one taken by Peterson. Yellow Jackets getting a tip on it. Now here's the swing from Holbein. That one dug out by Ziegler at the net. Now going up and putting it down is going to be Sydney Bader for UWS. Bader, two-sport athlete. Actually a three-sport athlete, as is Colleen Clodd. And the Jackets with 3 of the first 4 points here in set number 1. Here's Herring serve. Ziegler back row. Pass a little bit off. In the back line now here's Decker. And she will tuck it in the back row. Herring thought it was going to go long. She was mistaken. It finds the back line, and it's a kill. And a side out for St. Scholastica to make it 3-2. Baraboo's serve now. And that one will drift out for a service error. Jackets will slide it right back out at 4-2. Gabby Schwartz and Marina Sager are going to check in for the Yellow Jackets. Well, Kate Jampgard checks out, as does Colleen Clodd. Schwartz for UWS. And now we're having a conversation down at the table below us here with our down referee. And here's Schwartz's serve. Back row. Yackley popping it up. Punched over now by Swangstu. Yellow Jackets able to dig it out. Now rising for the shot and getting the swing and the kill is going to be McKenna Holbein. Holbein for the Yellow Jackets, who had 26 kills the last time these two teams met. Makes it 5-2. And Schwartz back to the line. Here's her serve. Decker back row. Now here is Yackley to the near side. Here's Peterson. Her swing to the far side, dug out by Schwartz. Now here's the swing from Marina Sager for the Yellow Jackets, and she finds the back line. Marina Sager, the native of Stillwater, Minnesota, makes it 6-2 in favor of the Jackets here in the early going of set number 1. Here's Schwartz's serve. Yackley now to the outside. Here's the cross-court swing. That one taken by Cassidy Lustig, and that one will drift long and out of play. And the Jackets off to a quick start here in the first set, leading at 7-2. Yeah, Schwartz off the serve. Overpass there, going up is Holbein, and she'll put it down. And the Yellow Jackets out to an 8-2 lead, and a quick timeout going to be called here by Chelsea Murado. St. Scholastica trying to sort themselves out a little bit on the serve receive. Yellow Jackets out to, like I said, a fast start here, leading it. First matchup between these two teams, the first 3 sets were incredibly tight. Jackets won the first set 26-24. Saints came back to win the second set 25-22. The Jackets then take another very close set in the third, 29-27, and then St. Scholastica, the serve receive kind of broke down for them a little bit in the fourth set of that match, and the Jackets were able to pull away and end up winning at 25-17 and 3-1. So these two teams pretty evenly matched up, at least in the first matchup. And as we come out of the timeout here, at UWS, like I said, out to a quick start here in this one. And as we come out, Schwartz continuing up the line here for UWS from the service line. And she'll float this one over. Lustig back row. Now Yackley up in the air, swings to. Tipped at the net by Bader. Now Lustig will tip it over. Free ball for the Jackets. Schwartz to the outside. Here's Holbein going up, trying to go cross court. That one dug out by Lustig. Now she'll go back up. She'll push it over the net. Herring now in the back set. Here's the swing from Holbein, and that dug out by Schwangstu. Now Schwangstu will try to tip it over. Diving dig out there. Wesley, well done by Schwartz. Played over for a free ball by Jones. Now Peterson for the Saints going cross court. Dig out by UWS's Jones. Played over. Now Yackley. The far side, here's Lustig going cross court. Another nice dig there for Herring. Now Holbein with the left hand tipping it over. Another dig for Lustig. Pushed over now by Peterson. Back and forth we go. Back set from Schwartz. Now bumped over by Bader. A little bit of a miscommunication there. Now through the middle of Schwangstu. And she will finally end the rally with a kill, her first of the match. And after all that, St. Scholastica sides out to make it 8-3. And Michaela Peterson will go back and serve now, the native of Mora, Minnesota for St. Scholastica. Here's her serve. Herring shanked the pass just a little bit. And now it'll be bumped over by Bader for a free ball for the Saints. Yackley swings through the middle, and her swing will result in her second straight kill. The assist to Natalie Yackley makes it 8-4. And Peterson continues from the service line. Jones on the reception. Schwartz punched over now by Sager. Dug out by Decker back row. On the far side, Lustig. Yackley off the tip of the net. Here's a swing by Schwangstu. Tipped at the net again. This time by Bader. And then a swing over the top and just put down by Yackley. So the Saints out of the timeout with 3 straight points. They've now cut the lead 8-5. And now here is the serve from Peterson. Right in the bottom half of the net. So the side out. Jackets lead at 9-5, as McKenna Holbein goes back to serve for the first time. And Holbein serve. Back row, Decker. Yackley through the middle. Schwangstu. Try to tip it over. And then an error here by the St. Scholastica's Lustig as she, after getting tipped at the net, had to punch it over into the bottom side of the net. 2 straight points to the Jackets. Now makes it 10-5. And here's the serve now from Holbein. Back row, it's Decker on the reception. Yackley to the outside. Lustig on the swing, and that one is long out of play. I think Scholastica was looking for the tip. None forthcoming. Attack error makes it 11-5. And Holbein goes back to the line again. Decker on the reception. Yackley bumps it to the outside. Lustig swing, and that one will also drift long. Scholastica having a hard time getting going here. 12-5, the Jackets by 7. Holbein continuing now to serve. Scholastica going to make a change now as Tate Borstad's going to check in for the first time. She receives this pass, but shanks it out of play. Service ace makes it 13-5. Jackets running away and hiding here so far, at least in the early stage. As Holbein serve. This time into the net for an error, makes it 13-6. Abby Zins pops up off the Scholastica bench. She'll check back in. So will Cassidy Lustig. Decker checks out for St. Scholastica, as does Borstad. And Lustig from nearby Ashland will go back and serve here. Here's her serve. Another error into the net. 14-6 now, Jackets by 8. Sydney Smith's going to come in. Savannah Herring will check out. Sydney Bader will go back and serve for UWS. Here's her serve, and that one will miss wide to the far side. Both teams trading service errors here to make it 14-7. Baraboo comes back in for the Saints. Bryn Ziegler goes back to serve it here. Received by Jones. Schwartz to the middle. Here's the swing taken by Smith. Nice dig on the far side by Peterson. Jackets now with Schwartz as it comes back to her. Here's the swing now from Jones, and they're going to call St. Scholastica into the net. On the block attempt, 15-7 now, as Claude and Kate Jamtgard will come back in. Sager and Schwartz will depart for the Yellow Jackets. And now here's Claude. Zins on the reception. Yackley through the middle. Here's the swing from Baraboo. Tipped at the net. Claude popping it up. Jamtgard plays it over. Dig back row now by Peterson. Now it's Baraboo again on the swing. Another dig, this time by Holbein. through the middle. Here's the swing. And it's kept alive by St. Scholastica, at least for the time being. But in fact, it does not make it back to the other side of the net. Credit that point to UWS's Sydney Smith. And the Jackets up 16-7 here in set number 1. Colleen Claude still from the line. Here's Zins. Yackley back out for Zins. Abby Zins on the swing. Holbein on the dig. To the outside, here's the swing now by Jones. Dug out back row, this time by Lustig. And now punched over for a free ball for the Jackets. Back set now. Here's the swing from Jampgard. Peterson. Now Zins on the outside. Her swing. Dug out back row by Holbein. Jampgard again. And this time it will come down for a kill for Kate Jampgard, the junior from Grand Rapids, Minnesota. Saints on the back line. Ziegler and Lustig got all turned around on that swing from Kate Jampgard. They got tipped at the net. And UWS up now 17-7. The serve now through the middle. Pass was a little bit off from Claude. Going right up and putting it down with the left hand was the setter, Nally Yackley, for the side out. It's at 17-8 now. And Yackley now goes back to serve. Holbein on the reception. Claude to the outside. Here's Jones on the swing. Tipped at the net. Bumped up now by Claude. Jones will push it over. Dig by Lustig, back row for the Saints. Now to the outside. Here's the swing from Zins. She got tipped at the net by Smith. Herring now will bump it up. Holbein comes. She'll push it over. Zins on the dig. Now here's Baraboo on the swing, and she'll miss everything to the backside. About a foot or so over the end line for an attack error to make it 18-8. Like I said, the Jackets kind of running away and hiding here in the first set. Caitlin Jones on the serve. Lustig, good pass there. Yackley to the outside. Now here's the swing by Zins. Dug out by Herring. Free ball for St. Scholastica. Yackley back set. Here's Peterson's approach. She gets tipped at the net. Herring will bump it up again. Now Holbein on the approach, and she'll get the kill. McKenna Holbein. She had a free run up on that one and got all of it. Kill makes it now 19-8. And here's Jones' serve. Zins had a hard time with it. Now the Saints will play it over for a free ball. Jampgard, Claude, Holbein tried to punch it over, and she'll get stuffed instead. Baraboo was there as well as Peterson. Side off for the Saints makes it 19-9. Zins is going to check back out as Ava Decker comes back in. And Decker will serve. Herring, Claude to the outside. Now Jampgard on the swing. Gets stuffed at the net. That's Baraboo on the block. Lindsay Baraboo, the senior, makes it 19-10. Decker at the line. Herring. Claude to the middle. Here's Smith. And she'll get the kill for the Yellow Jackets. Went high off the hands of Baraboo that time on a 1-on-1 matchup through the middle. And Sydney Smith's second kill makes it 20-10. Savannah Herring will go back and serve now for UWS. Ziegler on the reception. Short set through the middle. Here's the swing from Baraboo. Got tipped by Bader, who's back in there. Now to the outside. Here's Lustig. Dug out by Jones. Claude, back set. Jampgard goes cross court. Dug out by Peterson. Now Lustig. Another dig for Herring. Holbein had to adjust her approach, and they're going to give the point to St. Scholastica here. UWS into the net. That makes it now 20-11 as Baraboo goes back to serve. Good serve there. Good job by Holbein to keep it alive. Now she gets the swing at the net. Tipped. Claude. Now Jampgard, and she'll go off of the block attempt of Swangstu, who's back in there for the kill. 21-11. Schwartz and Sager coming back in now. Jampgard and also Colleen Claude will check out. And here's Gabby Schwartz's serve. Yackley to the far side, now punched over by Swangstu. Dig for the Yellow Jackets, bumped up. Now here's Sager on the approach. Dug out by the Saints. Now Lustig, and that's into the net. Point for the Jackets, 3 points away from taking set number one is UWS, 22-11. Here's Schwartz's serve. Lustig bumping it up. Peterson will play it over for a UWS free ball. Herring, Schwartz to the middle. Here's the approach by Holbein. Tipped at the net. Holbein on the set now. Here's the swing on the far side from Bader. That's kept alive by the Saints. Good defense there. Now Schwartz will dump it and she'll get the kill. Don't see Gabby Schwartz do that a whole lot, but she did it there. Caught St. Scholastica napping in the middle. Gets the kill, and it's 23-11. Schwartz's serve toward the back row. Decker on the reception. Yackley. Here's the swing now by Peterson, and she tucks it in the back line. Michaela Peterson makes it 23-12 off the side out. And Peterson will go back and serve it for the Saints herself here. Here's her serve. Jones. Schwartz. Sager. Sending it over. Dug out by Decker. Yackley through the middle. Swangstu on the swing. Dug out by Jones back row. Now Holbein goes up. She'll take a swing at it. Dug out back row by Decker. Now Lustig. She punches it over. Good hustle by Jones back row to get the dig. Now Holbein. Cross court. Dug out by Ziegler for the Saints. Now Swangstu. And the ball still alive. Free ball for UWS. Schwartz to the outside. Here's the swing now by Sager, and she'll get the kill. And the Jackets have set point at 24-12. And Holbein will try to close it out here for UWS. Jackets so far hitting .225. The Saints negative at minus .021 thus far, as here's Holbein's serve. Decker now to the outside. Here's Lustig's swing. Cross court dug out by Savannah Herring. Now near side. Here's Jones going up with a swing. Dug out by the Saints. They'll play it over for another Yellow Jacket free ball. Herring. Schwartz. Bader on the swing. Dug out by Peterson. Now Swangstu will punch it over. Holbein on the dig. Schwartz. Back set. Here's the swing now from Sager, and she'll get the kill. And the Jackets very impressively close out set number one in style. Yellow Jackets taking the first set 25-12. We'll take a quick break and come back with our first set summary and the start of the second set. Sponsored by Howland Incorporated. That's coming up right after this. This is UWS Women's Volleyball on 91.3 FM KUWS Superior and on Yellow Jacket TV, an affiliate of the UMAC Sports Network. Back here at the Merge for the second set. Set break sponsored by Howland Incorporated. The Yellow Jackets taking that first set very impressively, 25-12. UWS as a team hitting .250 in that opening set, while St. Scholastica negative hitting minus .020. I expect the Saints will play a lot better from here on out. Yellow Jackets being led, as usual, by McKenna Holbein. 4 kills so far for the sophomore from Holdingford, Minnesota. 3 so far for Rena Sager. She's hitting .429 so far through one set. 2 kills also for Kate Jampgard for UWS. Meanwhile, for St. Scholastica, Ava Swangstu has 2 kills, but nobody else has more than 1. In fact, other than the setter, Yackley, who has 2 kills and 4 assists, St. Scholastica had a hard time getting anything going in that first set. As we get ready to begin set number 2. Pretty good crowd here on this Tuesday evening here in Superior for this one. Colleen Claude will lead things off here for UWS from the service line. And here is her serve. Decker on the reception now through the middle. Here's a swing from Lindsay Baraboo, and she'll get the kill. Baraboo was pretty quiet in that first set. She's one of the better middles that the Jackets will see this year. And it's 1-0 in favor of the Saints. As going back to the line now is Ava Decker. Here's Decker's serve. Holbein on the reception. Now through the middle. Here's the swing from Sydney Smith, and she'll get the kill. The assist to Colleen Claude went right off of the high hands there of Lindsay Baraboo to get the kill. That evens it up at 1 apiece off the side out. Caitlin Jones, who had a quiet first set, also now going back to the line for the Yellow Jackets. She'll serve here. And Jones' serve is an ace. Went right at the Saints on the left side, and there was a bit of a miscommunication. Baraboo didn't know if she wanted to take it, neither did Decker, and it fell in for an ace. 2-1 Jackets in the lead as Jones back to the line. Here's her serve. See back row by Decker. Now Baraboo will tip it over. Dug out by Jampgard. Now set up. And punched over now by Holbein. This is going to be a tough play for the Saints. They're going to give a free ball, I think, to the Jackets. In fact, they're not going to be able to do so. Ziegler had to run it down near side, tried to pop it up, and then Yackley misjudged it. Couldn't get there in time, and the Jackets now lead 3-1. So it's been a tough start here for the Saints. Here's Jones' serve. Decker. Yackley to the near side. Here's the swing. Taken by Lustig. Dug out by the Yellow Jackets. Played over by Herring for a St. Scholastica free ball. Now Yackley to the outside. Baraboo. Tipped at the net by Jampgard. Now Baraboo will try to tip this time. Jackets digging it out. Now Holbein off balance. At her attempt. Tipped at the net. Now it's Smith on the swing, and she'll get the kill. Sydney Smith makes it 4-1 in favor of UWS. Went right off of Lindsay Baraboo. And UWS so far really controlling the early portions of this match. As here's Jones again on the serve. Ziegler, back set from Yackley. Now here's the swing up the line. Now one taken by Peterson, and then the Yellow Jackets getting a kill through the middle. That's Smith again to make it 5-1. Caitlin Jones for UWS at the line. Here's her serve, and that one will ride long and over the end line for an error to make it 5-2 as the Saints side out. Swangstu comes back into the match. Baraboo goes back to serve it. And here's her serve, Jones. Claude popping it up. Here's the swing now by Jampgard going cross court, and she'll miss the far side. It'll be an attack error on the Jackets to make it 5-3. And Baraboo back to the line again here. Here's her serve. Holbein on the reception. Claude back set. Jampgard again. This time she'll punch it off of the block attempt of Swangstu. Saints with Swangstu now through the middle, and she'll tip it over for a kill. Ava Swangstu makes it now 5-4. Assistant Natalie Yackley, who is the lone setter on the 5-1 that St. Scholastica runs as an offense. And now here's Baraboo's serve. Herring, Claude, Jampgard on the swing. Kept alive. Baraboo trying to go over the net. Tipped at the net. Now played over. Free ball UWS. Claude. Holbein off balance with the left hand. Had to play it over for a free ball for the Saints now. Here's the swing by Lustig, and she'll get the kill. Went off the hands of Sydney Smith to get the termination to make it 5 apiece. So Scholastica being able to pick it up just a little bit here. As we're even up at 5s here, early stages of the second set. Serve from Baraboo. Claude. Holbein on the outside. Tipped at the net. Claude. Smith. Dug out by Baraboo. Now to the far side and trying to punch it over was Peterson and unable to do so. In the top half of the net for the air, makes it 6-5 off the side out. Herring will go back and serve for UWS. Bader comes back in. She'll replace Sydney Smith. In the middle hitter role as Savannah Herring will serve this one up. Yackley on the back set. Here's the swing now from Peterson. Tipped at the net. Claude. Jump guard on the swing, and she'll get the kill. Went off of Cassie Lustig. Kate Jamp-Guard makes it now 7-5. Herring at the line. Here's her serve. Back row. And an overpass ends up being a kill. Bader misjudged it. She tried to rise up and get the free kill on that one, but misjudged it. Couldn't bring it in and play it over. 7-6. Scholastica off the side out. Here's Decker's serve. Claude. Holbein on the approach, and she'll get stuffed by Swangstu on a solo block. 7 apiece now. Peterson on the serve. Claude through the middle. Bader. And she'll go out the block attempt with Swangstu this time and get the kill. They sided out to make it 8-7. Schwartz is going to come back in, as is Sager for UWS. And Gabby Schwartz, who had a nice run of service points in the first set, will serve for the first time here in set number 2. There's her serve back row. Decker now through the middle. Here's the swing. Taken by Swangstu. Jackets dig it out. Now Sager will bump it over for a free ball. Yackley to the outside. Lustig. Jackets able to dig it out. Now Holbein on the swing, and she'll get the kill. McKenna Holbein, 6th rotation player, gets the kill. The assist to Gabby Schwartz makes it 9-7 in favor of UWS. And now Schwartz again off the serve. Lustig, Yackley, now Swangstu off the tip, and she'll get the kill. Ava Swangstu. Had a nice match the first time these two teams played. 6-foot senior from Grand Forks, North Dakota. Makes it 9-8. And now Lustig at the line. Jones through the middle. Tipped over by UWS's Bader. Free ball for the Saints. Now Abby Zinn's on the swing. That one tipped at the net, and they're going to call 4 contacts here on St. Scholastica. 10-8 your score. Holbein will go back and serve for UWS. Here's her serve. Yackley just tipping it over for the kill out. Another overpass, but Yackley, who's got good size at 5'9", just tips it over, gets the kill. She has 3 of those already. She's one of the leaders for the Saints in that category thus far. And it's 10-9. Off the side out. Here's Ziegler's serve. Holbein. Schwartz. Bader on the swing. And she'll miss the far side. Jackets looking for a touch. And none forthcoming. It's going to be an attack error on Bader to make it 10 apiece. Bryn Ziegler continuing at the line. There's her serve. Holbein. Schwartz now to the outside. Punched over by Jones. Dug out by Ziegler, back row. Now Zins. Holbein on the dig. Now dumped over by Schwartz. Now on the slide. Here's the swing from Baraboo, and she'll miss everything. Attack error for Lindsay Baraboo. Side off of the Jackets makes it 11-10 as Sydney Smith comes back in. Sydney Bader, meanwhile, at the line for the Yellow Jackets. And here's her serve. Lustig. Yackley. Now Baraboo with the swing. She misses it again. She's having a hard time getting going, Lindsay Baraboo. 12-10 now. The Jackets up by a pair. Bader's serve. Lustig on the reception. Punched over now by Zins. Popped up now by Schwartz. Sager gets stuffed at the net. Sager will try to play it over again. Now dug out by Lustig, back row. Yackley. Zins on the swing. Holbein on the dig. Schwartz to the outside. Jones on the swing, and Caitlin Jones will get the kill. Caitlin Jones makes it 13-10 for UWS. Bader off the serve there. Zins at the net, and Yackley unable to keep it in play. She went for a joust against Smith, giving up about 3 or 4 inches on that exchange, and a timeout going to be called here by Chelsea Murado. Jackets now leading it by the score of 14-10. Yellow Jacket fans get the same gear the Yellow Jackets wear by visiting the Yellow Jacket sideline store. Browse the latest styles of gear, including shirts, shorts, sweatshirts, outerwear, and more. The Yellow Jacket sideline store can be found at uwsyellowjackets.com/shop. As we get a look at some of the numbers here so far. UWS getting 221. The Saints now at triple zeros. Holbein leading everybody. No surprise there again. 6 kills for McKenna Holbein. 3 each for Sydney Smith and Kate Jamkard to go along with Marina Sager, who also has 3 kills. 2 kills so far for Caitlin Jones, who only had 9 swings thus far. 2 kills for Sydney Bader. 9 assists so far for Colleen Clodd. Meanwhile, for St. Scholastica, Swangstu with 4 kills thus far. Lindsay Baraboo so far hitting a negative 250. She's got just 1 kill thus far and 4 errors. Uncharacteristic for her. Meanwhile, Yackley has 3 kills and 8 assists. As we come on to the timeout. Bader at the line here for UWS. And here's Sydney Bader's serve. Lustig on the reception. Yackley tipped over now by Baraboo. Yellow Jackets dig it out. Sending it over was Jones. Ball still alive. Now played over. Everybody's out of system. Now pushed deep by Schwartz. Yackley. Sins on the swing. Dug out by McKenna Holbein. Schwartz to the outside. Here's the swing from Jones, and she'll get stuffed by Baraboo. Lindsay Baraboo makes it 14-11. Off the side out, Yackley will go back and serve for the Saints. Bader checks out. Smith back in. Here's the serve. Holbein, Schwartz. Smith on the swing, and she'll get the kill. Going off the hands there of Lindsay Baraboo to make it 15-11. Jamkard comes back in. Colleen Clodd now for UWS. We'll go back to the line and serve it. Clodd serve. Lustig on the reception. Back set now. On the approach, it's Peterson. Tipped at the net. Clodd. Jones bumps it over. Sins. Short set to the middle for Baraboo, and there's her second kill. But not the block attempt that time of Sydney Smith to make it 15-12. Decker checks back in now for St. Scholastica. Here's the serve. Holbein. Clodd. Outside Jones. Tried to push it off of Peterson. Instead, it was tipped right back off of the Yellow Jackets. Jones to the outside, and it'll be a kill for St. Scholastica to make it 15-13. Here's Decker's serve, and that's well wide. Server Sayer gives it back to the Jackets at 16-13 now. Caitlin Jones going back to the line. Jones' serve. Ziegler. Back set from Yackley. Here's the swing now taken by Peterson, and she'll get the kill. Swangstu comes back in for the Saints. Baraboo back to the line to serve for St. Scholastica off the side out. Floats it back row. Holbein. Clodd. Jamkard on the swing, and she'll get the kill. Nice swing there from Kate Jamkard, the assist to Clodd. Played it right up the line to Kate Jamkard to make it 17-14. Savannah Herring to the line now for UWS. She will serve it. Her serve, Lustig. And the Saints having to play it over for a free ball. Clodd. Here's the swing now from Bader. Diving dig from the back row now by Decker. Here's the swing now at the line by Lustig. Another free ball for the Yellow Jackets. To the outside, Holbein on the swing. And that'll be a kill for McKenna Holbein. 18-14 now, the Jackets by 4. As Herring goes back to the line. here's Savannah Herring's serve. Decker on the reception. Peterson on the approach, and she'll get the kill. Out the block attempt of Sydney Bader to make it 18-15. Peterson goes back to the line now for St. Scholastica. Her serve received by Herring. Out through the middle, Bader will tip it over the top, and she'll get a kill. The assist to Claude. Right over the top of Swang's in the middle. Team's trading points. That's fine with the Jackets as they're up by 4. 19-15 as Schwartz and Sager come back in. Claude checks out, as does Jampgard. Here's the serve from Gabby Schwartz. Lustig, Yackley, Swang's and she'll get a tip kill. Assist to Yackley makes it now 19-16 as Zins will come back in. And Cassidy Lustig will serve for St. Scholastica at the back line. Here's her serve. Jones on the reception. Schwartz. Holbein on the swing. And that'll result in a kill for McKenna Holbein at 20-16 now. Holbein goes back to the line for UWS. She will serve. Zins on the reception. Yackley. The back line now. Here's the swing taken by Decker. Dug out by the Yellow Jackets. Schwartz. Tipped over by Jones. Free ball for the Saints. Yackley. Swings due. Dug out back row by Holbein. Now punched over by Sager. Ziegler. Now dumped by Yackley. Pushed over by Schwartz. Now Zins. Back row dig for Holbein. Schwartz to the outside. That one a little bit off, but tipped over by Caitlin Jones with the left hand, and she'll get the kill. The bump to the outside from Schwartz messed up the timing on the block attempt for St. Scholastica, and Jones just alertly tipped it right off of Ava Swangsu to get the point. Holbein on the serve now at 21-16. Played over. Free ball to the Jackets. Schwartz to the middle. Here's the swing for Bader, and she'll get the kill. Sydney Bader makes it 22-16. Holbein at the line. Here's her serve. Ziegler. Yackley. Swings to. And she'll get the kill. Sided out to make it 22-17. Baraboo comes back in now for St. Scholastica. Ziegler at the line. Here's her serve. Schwartz. Punched over by Sager. Out through the middle. Here's Baraboo. She got tipped at the net, pushed over by Sager. Free ball for the Saints. Now Baraboo will give it another try. Another dig for Herring. Ziegler now will bump it. Near side, here's the swing by Decker, and she'll find the far side on the kill. For Ava Decker makes it 22-18. Ziegler at the line. Here's her serve. And that one will drift just long over the back line. Pretty close, but long for the air makes it 23-18. Smith comes back in. Bader goes back to the line for UWS. And here's Bader's serve. Lustig to the outside now. Swing from Decker. Dug out by the Yellow Jackets. Now Jones off balance, and she'll get stuffed that time by Baraboo. Got tangled up over there with Sydney Bader off balance, and it was a pretty clear block attempt for Baraboo, and she made no mistake to make it 23-19. Yackley serve. Schwartz popping it up. Now Jones into the back row. Now here's a pop-up. The swing this time taken by Baraboo, and she'll miss the back line. Another attack error for Lindsay Baraboo makes it 24-19, and it's set point for the Yellow Jackets as Claude comes back in, as does UWS's Kate Jamgard here. Set point as Claude at the line. And here's her serve. Decker, Yackley. Decker pushes it over the top. Free ball Jackets. Now here's the swing from Jones. Lustig. And that'll be a 2-0 lead now as Jones puts it away for the Yellow Jackets up the far side. The assist to Colleen Claude. And the Yellow Jackets take the second set. 25-19. They now lead this best of 5, 2-0. And with that, we'll take a break with the two teams and come back with the start of the third set right after this. This is UWS Women's Volleyball on 91.3 FM. KUWS Superior on Yellow Jacket TV, an affiliate of the UMAC Sports Network. Matt Johnson back here at Mertz Mortarelli Gymnasium as we get ready for the start of the third set. This set break sponsored by Hovland Incorporated. We'll take a look at the numbers through two sets here. The Yellow Jackets out-hitting the Saints 227 to 041. The Jackets so far spreading around quite well offensively. 7 kills for McKenna Holbein, but 4 kills each so far for Smith, Jamkard, and Bader, and 3 more for Marina Sager. So the Jackets moving the ball around pretty well. 13 assists for Colleen Clodd, 8 so far for Gabby Schwartz. So far, Savannah Herring with 14 digs, 12 digs so far for Jones, and Holbein with 10 digs for the Yellow Jackets as well. St. Scholastica being led by Swangstu with 6 kills. Yackley so far has 13 assists. Defensively, 12 digs so far for Decker and 11 so far for Bryn Ziegler as we begin the third set here. Jackets taking the first two sets 25-12 and 25-19. We'll see if St. Scholastica can come back here and send this to a fourth set. Saints will serve first here in the fourth set. These two teams, as I mentioned earlier on, will meet for the third and final time on October 21st across the bridge over at Rife Gym. That'll be a 7 p.m. opening serve of that one. Yackley is going to lead things off here for St. Scholastica from the service line. UWS will be next in action this coming weekend. They'll have back-to-back matches against Bethany Lutheran and Martin Luther here at the Mertz, from returning to UMAC conference play. As Yackley kicks us off here with the serve. Holbein through the middle. Here's the swing by Sydney Smith, and she'll get the kill. Smith gives the Yellow Jackets an early 1-0 lead. Now Jones will go back and serve for UWS. Here's her serve. Ziegler. Yackley through the middle. Here's Baraboo. Tipped at the net. And the diving pancake attempt there comes up a little bit short from UWS's Savannah Herring. Side out for the Saints makes it 1 apiece. As Decker will go back and serve for the St. Scholastica Saints here. Herring. Claude. Punched over by Jamkard. Dug out by the Saints. Yackley. Far side Lustig. Dig for Savannah Herring, pushed over by Claude for a free ball. Yackley, near side Peterson. Dug out by Claude. Bumped outside, now punched over by Holbein. Now Lustig. And she'll get stuffed at the net. As she tried to tip it over, it was Kate Jamkard, I think, that got the tip at the net and the block. I think it could also be in Sydney Smith, to be perfectly honest. Sometimes it's hard from my angle. Anyway, 2-1, the Yellow Jackets now in the lead, as here's the serve from Herring. Decker. Now Peterson, and she'll get the kill. Michaela Peterson off the assist from Yackley makes it 2 apiece as Swangstu comes back in. Lindsay Baraboo will go back and serve for St. Scholastica. Here's her serve. Holbein. Claude. Now Holbein. Dug out by Baraboo back row. Now Decker. Jones. Claude. And the swing from McKenna Holbein is off the block attempt of Peterson. Oh, they're going to say it never made it over. And they're going to give the point to St. Scholastica. 3-2 in favor of the Saints as Baraboo goes back to the line to serve. It's hard to tell from this angle. I wasn't quite sure it ever made it over the net, to be honest with you. So I think they probably got that call right. And Baraboo gives it right back with a service error into the net. So 3 apiece now with Schwartz and Sager will come back in. Jamkard will check out, as will Colleen Claude. And Gabby Schwartz from the line. Lustig. Yackley. Lustig. Dug out by Herring. Now Holbein on the swing, and she'll get the kill. Kenna Holbein, if she can get a good approach, usually will put it down. She put that one down to make it 4-3 in favor of the Yellow Jackets. Now here's Schwartz. Decker, back set from Yackley. Now here's the swing from Peterson, and she'll get the kill. Off the block attempt of Bader to make it 4 apiece. Michaela Peterson will go back to the service line now for the Saints. Here's her serve. Herring shanked the pass just a little bit. So it'll be a free ball for the Saints as it comes over the net. Swangstu. Dumped now by Yackley, and she'll get the kill. She's quite good at that, is Natalie Yackley. It's her 4th kill of the match already. 5-4 in favor of St. Scholastica. Peterson serve. Jones, Schwartz, Sager. Tapped at the net. Schwartz was outside. Holbein. Cross court, dug out by Yackley. Ziegler. And then tipping it off a block attempt of Sager. As it was bumped to the outside was Lustig to get the kill. And the Saints have a 6-4 lead. This is their largest lead in any set so far. There's the serve from Peterson. Now through the middle. Punched over by Bader. Ziegler. Lustig. And we're going to have a call on the Yellow Jackets into the net. And call Sager as the offending party. It's going to be 7-4 now. So Scholastica is showing some signs of life here. Peterson's serve. Herring. Now there's Sager, and she'll get the kill here to make it 7-5. Side out. Holbein will go back and serve for UWS. McKenna Holbein serves. Ziegler. Yackley. Lustig. Punches it over. Dug out by Schwartz. Now Jones. Goes cross court. Dug out by Ziegler. Yackley from the back line. Here's the swing now taken by Peterson. Dug out by Holbein. Now here's the swing from Sager. Schwartz now will dump it over, and she'll get a kill. Two teams were kind of pinging it around at the net, hitting it back and forth, and then finally Schwartz just dumps it over for her second dump kill of the match to make it now 7-6. Holbein serve. Lustig. Yackley. Swangstu. Stuffed at the net. Getting the block on that one. Sydney Bader for the Jackets to make it 7 apiece. Holbein from the line. Lustig. Ziegler. Lustig. Herring off the dig. Schwartz outside. Jones rising. And she'll get the kill. Went cross court. Got Ziegler backing up. And Caitlin Jones gives UWS an 8-7 lead now here in the third set. McKenna Holbein for the Yellow Jackets at the line. Here's her serve. Lustig on the reception. Yackley out through the middle. Tipped over by Swangstu, and she'll get the kill. Side out makes it 8 apiece as Zins comes back into the match. Cassidy Lustig floats it up toward the back row. Herring. Now Holbein on the swing. Dug out. Free ball for the Jackets, however. Schwartz. Tipped over now. Bader. Now Zins. Dug out by UWS's Schwartz. Now Sager takes a big swing and she'll get a kill from the far side. Marina Sager gives the Yellow Jackets a 9-8 lead. Sydney Smith is going to come back in. Bader will go back to the line. Here's Bader's serve. Zins shanked her pass. Popped up. Should be a free ball for the Jackets. Jones, Schwartz, Smith. Tipped at the net. Dumped over now by Sager, and she'll get the kill. Initial swing from Smith was tipped by Swangstu. Came back to the Jackets, and then the set came to the outside. Sager just floated over the top. Got the kill, and it's 10-8 UWS. Now Bader's serve. Zins. Back set. Swangstu. Dug out by Holbein, back row. Schwartz. Here's the swing again by Sager, and she'll get the kill. Marina Sager really starting to heat up here in the third set. UWS up now 11-8. Looking to win this in 3 sets. Here's Bader's serve. Ziegler, Yackley, Zins, and that swing will drift over the top of everything. And it looks like Chelsea Murado is going to use a timeout here. 12-8, Yellow Jackets up by 4. Coach Lynn Diedrich hasn't even used the timeout as of yet. That's how well things have been going for UWS so far this evening. Gives us a chance also to remind you that, or ask you a question. Have you downloaded Swarm Central, the official rewards and loyalty app of the Yellow Jackets? If you haven't, get started and receive 200 points just for registering and 200 more for downloading the app. Redeem your points for cool prizes in the Swarm Central store. Find Swarm Central in the Apple and Google stores today. Take a quick look at the numbers here. Jackets still hitting the ball pretty well at 245. St. Scholastica at 068. Holbein with 8 kills. We go along with 12 digs thus far. Sager now, by the way, hitting 389 for the match. She's got 7 kills. She's getting on a bit of a roll here. So is Sydney Smith's had a good match as well. 5 kills and 9 swings, 556 her hitting percentage. Caitlin Jones with 5 kills as well for the Yellow Jackets. 4 kills each for Bader and Jamtgard. Scholastica, Swangstu so far has 7 kills. He's hitting 273. Yackley has 4 kills as well. Peterson has 5 kills. And as we come out of the timeout, Jackets up by 4 as Bader continues from the line. Here's her serve. It's been taken by Zins from the outside off the serve reception there by Peterson, and her swing goes well long. Attack error makes it 13-8. Decker comes back in. Zins will check out. Here's Bader's serve. Lustig on the reception. Now float over by Swangstu, dug out by the Jackets. Back set from Schwartz. Now here's the swing from Sager, and this time she'll miss it long. Only the second error of the match for Marina Sager to make it 13-9 now. As Bryn Ziegler goes back to serve for the Saints. Jones on the reception. Short set through the middle. Here's the swing by Smith. Dug out back row by Lustig. Taking the swing was Decker. Dug out by the Yellow Jackets. Now here's Jones on the approach. Tipped at the net. Herring will pop it up. Pushed over by Schwartz. And they're going to call a double contact here on the Yellow Jackets. Ball handling error makes it 13-10. And here's Ziegler at the line. Jones, Schwartz, back set, Sager. And she'll get the kill up the line. Kill number 8 for Marina Sager makes it 14-10. Claude will come back in, as will Jamtgard. Good little rotation run there for the combination of Schwartz and Sager. As Claude now for UWS. Here's her serve. Lustig. Yackley tried to punch it over. Now Jones. Free ball for the Saints as Yackley through the middle. Baraboo. Tipped at the net. Now Jamkard on the swing. Dug out by Peterson. Yackley will try the opposite side. This time it's Decker, and she'll get the kill. Ava Decker's kill makes it 14-11. Yackley goes back to the line now for St. Scholastica. Here's her serve. Holbein. Claude. Through the middle. Here's the swing by Sydney Smith, and she'll get a powerful kill on that one. Sydney Smith. The junior makes it 15-11. Caitlin Jones at the line now for UWS. And here's her serve. Ziegler. Yackley. Near side swing from Peterson. Tipped at the net by Holbein. Now dumped over. Free ball Yellow Jackets. Herring. Claude. Holbein on the approach, and she'll get the kill. McKenna Holbein. The assist to Colleen Claude makes it 16-11. Jones now at the line. Here's her serve. Lustig. Yackley. Lustig will play it over. Dug out by Holbein. Claude running in now. Sending it over as Jamkard. Now on the far side, here's the swing taken and put down as a kill for Decker. It'll make it 16-12. And Ava Decker at the line now. Her serve back row. Herring. Claude. Outside Jamkard. Floats it over. Dug out back row. Decker. Yackley. Lustig. Diving dig over there by Herring. Now Holbein will take a big swing, and it'll go out. Or did she actually play it off of Scholastica player? She actually did. McKenna Holbein getting the kill. Wasn't sure if it got over the net, but went off of Peterson apparently. Side out makes it 17-12. Serve from Herring. Ziegler. Yackley. Out balance. Lustig will get the kill. Went off of Sydney Bader to get that one, who's back in there. Placing Smith, 17-13. Baraboo at the line. There's her serve. Jones. Claude. Short set. Tipped over by Jamkard, and she'll get the kill. Kate Jamkard makes it 18-13. Schwartz and Sager are going to come back in. Gabby Schwartz's serve. Lustig back set from Yackley. Here's the swing from Peterson. Dug out by Schwartz. Bumped up now by Herring. Now Sager will play it back row. Dug out by Decker. Yackley swings to on the swing. Tipped at the net by Bader. Now Peterson sends it over. Free ball for the Jackets. Herring. Holbein. Another free ball for the Jackets as it was dug out by Ziegler. Now tipping it over the top and getting the kill is going to be UWS's Sydney Bader. And UWS up now 19-13. And the Saints are going to call their second and final timeout here of set number 3. It's been pretty much all Yellow Jackets all night here, which is a little bit different from the first match. I talked about how tight the first match was between these two. Back at the Stinger Classic, the Jackets winning 2 of their 3 sets in, I guess, what would be called extra time, I guess, or extra points, extra volleyball maybe. 26-24 and 29-27, the first and third sets. Well, Scholastica took the second set of that matchup, 25-22, and you thought, well, this might go 5. And the Jackets in the fourth set of that match pulled away a bit and won at 25-17. But tonight, UWS, except for a few moments here and there, has really been in control from the start. 25-12 in the first, 25-19 in the second, and leading at 19-13 here in the third. Jackets started out hot, and they've been hot ever since. If you look at the Yellow Jackets, 250 in the first, 205 in the second, 297 so far here in the third. Scholastica hit negative in the first. As we come out of the timeout, Schwartz for the Yellow Jackets, continuing to serve. Lustig back row. Yackley popping it up. Peterson will tip it over. Free ball for the Jackets. Schwartz. Back set. Sager. And Marina Sager's kill makes it 20-13. Reminder, once we go final, we'll have our brief post-game show sponsored by Synovus Energy. As this one now, swing taken from Ava Swangstu off the serve from Schwartz, and she'll get the kill. 20-14 now off the side out. Michaela Peterson will go back and serve now for St. Scholastica. Her serve. Holbein on the reception. Now to the near side. Here's the swing from Sager. Tipped at the net. Schwartz through the middle. Here's the swing by Bader. Still alive. Now Lustig on the swing, and she'll get the kill, I think. Yeah, she will. Good attempt at a dig there from Caitlin Jones. Couldn't keep it alive. And it's 20-15 now. There's the serve now taken by Peterson. Schwartz punched over by Bader. Free ball. Here's the swing now taken by Lustig. Now the swing from Yackley. Dug out by Jones. Schwartz near side. Here's the swing by McKenna Holbein, and she'll use the block attempt to get the kill. 21-15. Holbein serve. Decker. Out through the middle, Swangstu. Tipped at the net by Bader. And now Jones will roll it over, and she'll get a kill. The Jackets closing in on a 3-set sweep here of the Saints in the second bridge battle of 2025. Holbein serve. Lustig. Yackley tips it over. Free ball Jackets. Herring to the outside. Sager now. Her swing tipped at the net. Ziegler on the dig. Now Swangstu. And she'll get stuffed by Bader on a one-on-one. Sydney Bader stuffing Ava Swangstu, and it's 23-15. Jackets 2 points now away. Holbein serve. Lustig again on the reception. Now she gets it back on the set. And now another block. It's going to be Bader again. And now it's match point for UWS at 24-15. Holbein on the serve. Receive back row now by Decker to the outside. Lustig tips it over. Dug out by Schwartz. Bump to the near side. Here's Jones on the swing, and she'll finish it. Caitlin Jones, the former St. Scholastica outside hitter, finishes off her former team, with the kill there, and the Yellow Jackets, in very impressive fashion, sweep the St. Scholastica Saints here tonight in the second bridge battle of 2025. Your final here, Yellow Jackets 3-0. We'll take a quick break, and we'll come back with our post-game show sponsored by Synovus Energy. That's coming up right after this. This is UWS Volleyball on 91.3 FM, KUWS Superior, and on Yellow Jacket TV, an affiliate of the UMAC Sports Network. Matt Johnson back here at the Mertz. Wasn't expecting this kind of match tonight, but I'm certainly not going to complain about it, and neither will the Yellow Jackets. UWS sweeping St. Scholastica 3-0 in the second bridge battle of 2025 as we jump into our post-game, sponsored by Synovus Energy. Yellow Jackets wasted no time in taking control, and that really never let up after that. UWS in the first set hitting .250 as a team, holding the Saints, by the way, to negative .020 hitting in that first set and taking it 25-12. And like I said, it really didn't get much better for St. Scholastica from there. In the second set, the Saints upped their percentage to 109, but the Jackets, they came down a little bit at 205, but again, were able to pull away late after a quick, or a somewhat even start, I should say. In the first moments of the second set, they pulled away late to win at 25-19, and then in the third set, the Jackets hitting .333 as a team. St. Scholastica, meanwhile, hitting .133, and the Jackets able to pull away and win the third set 25-15 as we jump into our final numbers from this one. As a team, the Jackets hitting .263, while St. Scholastica hit just .070 for the match. That gives you an idea of how dominant the Jackets were tonight. UWS, one player in double figures in kills. No surprise, it's McKenna Holbein. She has a double-double on the night. 11 kills and 13 days. Another day at the office for her. 18 assists in the match, for Colleen Clodd. 17 for Gabby Schwartz. But the defense was really good for the Jackets tonight as well. Savannah Herring had 21 digs. 16 digs for Kaylin Jones. She only had 7 kills in the match, but she was really good defensively tonight. 13 digs, as I mentioned, for Holbein, and 10 for Schwartz in the match as well. But Marina Sager, I'm going to go ahead and give her my post-game show player of the game. She was really good tonight. 24 swings. She had 9 kills and just 1 error. Hit .333 for the match. And those are really good numbers. I'll take that from an outside anytime. So Marina Sager, your post-game show player of the match. Meanwhile, for St. Scholastica, Ava Swangstu had 8 kills. She hit .269. She was by far the leader for St. Scholastica in that regard. Ava Decker, meanwhile, had 5 kills. Cassie Lustig had 5 kills. Michaela Pearson also had 5 kills. Lindsay Baraboo had a tough night. 3 kills. She had 5 errors and 17 attacks. Hit -118. While Natalie Yackley had 4 kills, which was one of the leaders for the Saints in that category. Gives you an idea how tough the offense was tonight for St. Scholastica. 22 assists for Yackley as well. Meanwhile, defensively, they were led by Ziegler. She had 16 digs in the match. Those are the final numbers in this one. That's the Jackets with the win, improved to 12-7 overall, while the Saints fall to 8-7 overall. The Yellow Jackets off for the next couple of days. They'll be next in action this coming Friday, October 3rd, taking on Bethany Lutheran right here. That'll be a joint broadcast, by the way, with yours truly on the call. 91.3 FM, KUWS, and Yellow Jacket TV, as always, as the Jackets taking on the Vikings. A very improved Vikings team, by the way. That's a team that the Jackets have had their way with over the years, but it should be an interesting match against the Vikings as they return to UMAC conference action this coming Friday. St. Scholastica, meanwhile, will be next in action as well on Friday. They'll be taking on Carleton across the bridge if you're a St. Scholastica listener, and they'll be taking on the Knights at 7 p.m. These two teams, again, will meet for the third and final time, by the way, again, Tuesday, October 21st, so in a few weeks over at Ripe Gym in Duluth. That'll be a 7 p.m. opening serve there. So if you're a St. Scholastica fan or a UWS fan, that'll be the next time these two teams meet. Third and final matchup in 2025 between those two. Big thank you to Chris Allen, who was my engineer back at 91.3 FM. Also, a big thank you to Evan Ludwig, who was my engineer at Yellow Jacket TV. Big thank you to everybody also who tuned in and listened either on the radio or watched on Yellow Jacket TV. We hope you enjoyed the broadcast, and we hope you'll join us again for more Yellow Jacket Volleyball this coming Friday when the Yellow Jackets return to action to take on Bethany Lutheran. So for Chris back at 91.3, and for Evan Ludwig at Yellow Jacket TV, this is Matt Johnson. One more time repeating the final score. Yellow Jackets downing St. Scholastica, sweeping the Saints in the second bridge battle of 2025. Yellow Jackets winning at 3-0 by scores of 25-12, 25-19, and 25-15. Again, thank you for listening, everybody, or watching. We'll be back with you again on Friday. This has been Yellow Jacket Women's Volleyball on 91.3 FM, KUWS Superior, and on Yellow Jacket TV, an affiliate of the UMAC Sports Network.
tryna make y'all come